I want to ask you about Ash Carter. He said that the White House does not or would not move with executive action to transfer detainees. Has the president made specific comments that he will not use executive action to close the prison at Guantanamo Bay and therefore try to move detainees to the U.S.?
I haven't heard the president say that publicly either. The president has been asked on a number of occasions whether or not he would consider using executive action. And what he has said when asked that question is that right now we are focused on trying to work with Congress to get them to remove the obstacles that they have erected to prevent the closing of the prison at Guantanamo Bay. The reason that this is important is the president and his national security team, including the leadership at the Pentagon, have concluded that our national security interest would be advanced, that our country would be safer if we took away the symbol of the prison at Guantanamo Bay that terrorist organizations are using to recruit terrorists. We also know, based on the plan that was put forward by the Department of Defense, that we could actually save some money. We can actually better use taxpayer dollars by closing the prison at Guantanamo Bay, which is prohibitively expensive, and actually detaining suspected terrorists in the same way that we're detaining convicted terrorists in the United States right now. There are dozens of individuals who've been convicted of terrorism inside the United States who are currently being held on American soil in American prisons. That doesn't actually pose a threat to our national security. That doesn't make us more vulnerable. If anything, it actually makes us safer because those individuals are not out walking around planning terrorist attacks, and we've demonstrated to the world that we can live up to our values and that we can prosecute our values, bring people to justice, keep the American people safe, in a way that is consistent with the kinds of principles that we hold dear.
And a couple of nuggets on that. You did say that 20 years out we could save up to $1 billion if we were to close it, comparatively speaking. And we've talked about Supermax in Colorado, for example, where there are a number of ex-terrorists, shoe bomber, underwear bomber, 9/11 conspirators. So that is true. But my question was, would the president rule out using executive action to close it? And I guess the second part of that would be, would it be possible then if that facility were closed that they could be transferred to another U.S. military facility in another location if Gitmo itself were closed?
Well, I think for the potential of using a military facility, I'd refer you to the Department of Defense. They obviously are in charge of administering those facilities. What the plan contemplated was they took a look at the kind of criteria that they would use for any facility to serve this purpose. And there are a variety of considerations. Obviously, we're dealing with people who do pose a threat to the public, so we need to make sure that that the facility is secure. We also need to make sure that we're holding a very high standard when it comes to protecting their basic human rights. In some cases, those individuals who are being detained would be going through a military commissions process, and so it would be more efficient if there is a place on site or relatively nearby, a place that's secure, where those proceedings could take place. We didn't want to be in a position where every time that an individual has a court appearance that we have to fly them to another location, but if we can just move them to a different part of the building or drive them down the street, we can ensure that those processes, those legal proceedings are carried out more efficiently. And so those are the kinds of considerations that they consider. I don't know whether or not they have ruled in or ruled out potential military facilities. I think what they'll probably tell you is that we need to see Congress remove some more restrictions so that we can spend more money and devote more time to considering potential facilities and actually implementing this plan.
I just want to be fair. So the president hasn't ruled out executive action. He just hasn't said yay or nay.
That's correct.
And is it lawful to go from military facility to another one if that facility is on U.S. soil? That's the only thing I'm not sure about, because going from facility to facility would seem to be under the DOD auspices, but I'm not sure if that's lawful if that particular facility, say Leavenworth, for example, is on U.S. soil. Are you aware? Is that lawful, or have they determined?
Why don't we check on your line of questioning? We'll see if we can get you a better answer. Okay, Tolu.